All right. So this is me being back after giving birth and moving, finding home, and getting used to this little man that's currently asleep on my shoulder. And hopefully stay asleep throughout this video. So we are back to record readings from my book, Pieces. 52 Short Stories While Being Human, and we are on story number 16 from the segment Musings and Learnings. Basically, my perspectives on life and different aspects of it. And today's chapter is called Feel the Rush. And I'm gonna read a little bit of it for you, and then we can have a chat about it. So here we go. We are afraid of fear. We try to manage it, conquer it, deny it, eliminate, or overcome it, amongst many other things we believe we should do to fear. There are some who say the best way to deal with fear is to accept it. I agree with them. I've tried most of all the other ways. Needless to say, none of them were very effective. Fear kept coming back. The stronger I pushed it away, the stronger it pushed back. The more I paid attention to fear, the more it occupied my mind, the more it was present in my life. I found myself constantly worried about this and that. No matter how many times I thought, I dealt with that fear. Fears like little spiders kept creeping up in unexpected places, as if to remind me that despite my well-honed art of denial, they are still there, sending my heart thumping at the mere sight of their little hairy leg. So, Feel the Rush, the name was inspired obviously by the song by Shaggy that I love. And his lyrics saying, feel the rush and live life with no fear. I don't think that's actually possible. I don't think you can live life without fear. And I don't think it's something we should strive for. I think fear, to some extent, is healthy, that we need it. It helps us to be cautious when we need to be cautious, and it rings the alarm bells and help us to navigate through life. Protect us from those tigers in the woods and bears in caves. Help us to run faster. But I think when it's just mind created, when it doesn't have base in our environment, it can be unhelpful and it can be harmful actually. And obviously when it gets out of hand, it can cause anxiety disorders, including panic attacks, and eventually when it becomes overwhelming, it can lead to depression because you just switch off. Of course, phobias are other extreme ways of dealing with fear. Post-traumatic stress disorder, it can affect our life really negatively. And what I've learned through life experience, through doing therapy as well as practicing it, and through mindfulness, is that actually just feeling the fear fully, like really going to the bottom of it, accepting it, just yes, it's there and that's fine. It empowers you to not act on it and to let it go. Sounds very simplistic, but it's not really. It's almost like once you feel it and acknowledge it and accept it, it's not that you physically or practically let it go. It kind of diminishes by itself. It stops being scary, whatever the cause of the fear was. And you can't logically think it away. Trust me, I tried. You can't push it away, deny it, brave it. Even if you brave and you act despite of the fear, that's great, but it doesn't do away with the fear. The fear is still there lurking, and that's something I've learned as well, because I'm pretty brave and I've gone pretty good in pushing through my fear and doing things anyway despite of it. And sometimes, when it came to kind of small things, the fact that I pushed through it did get rid of it, because the fear was of the unknown. And once it became known what the consequences are, there was no reason for the fear. But when it comes to the kind of irrational, mind-created fears of the uncertain future or whatever, that never really goes away, the kind of anxiety causing repeating cycle, especially when it's based in a kind of fears of abandonment and rejection, it comes from a childhood. It's kind of constant, it's not logical, the mind's always looking for evidence of supporting these fears as opposed to letting go of them. So much more deeper work needs to be done there, and therapy definitely can help. But even just as I said, mindful meditation, just sitting with that fear and just understanding it's part of you and it's okay, and allowing it to take the back seat. Just don't let it drive you. Kind of almost like learning to live with it as opposed to fighting it or pushing it away or denying it. And perhaps one day you will find complete peace with it, and then you realize that one day you turn around and it's not on the back seat anymore and it's just gone. But of course, depending on the cause, some more work still need to be done to make sure that it doesn't come back. I hope this makes sense. Feel free to write to me, and I'll be happy to discuss further. But yeah, there's also like a fine line between excitement and fear, and you can harness your fear for it to become your excitement, and especially when it comes to kind of the little fears, you can use them to fuel your adventures, and for fear to become that rush, that kind of rush through your blood that makes you feel alive. I suppose that's what this chapter is about. It's hopefully helping to understand fear in a more positive way and using it to fuel your life instead of destroy it. So yeah, have a read and let me know what you thought.